Hey everyone, this is Nick, and this is the Tuxedo InfinityBook Pro 14 Generation 7, which released in 2022. It's super sleek, it feels great and solid, and more importantly, it's powerful and it lasts forever. And I honestly believe that this is the template that most Linux laptops should follow. So let's see what it can do. Okay, I don't usually do these unboxing things, so we'll go over this really quick, but since Tuxedo puts a lot of things in the box, I think it's worth mentioning. But first, usual disclaimer, Tuxedo does sponsor a lot of videos on this channel, but never hardware reviews, and this one isn't sponsored either. They just sent me a review unit, I have to send it back afterwards, they didn't get to see the script or the video beforehand, and they can't really tell me what to say or not to say. And also the channel is doing well enough that if they decided to stop supporting the channel, I could still make it function as a business. So everything is tightly packed into a box that's also packed inside another box. Once you finally get inside, the laptop is protected by a small plastic sheet and it ships with a Tux mousepad and a Linux magazine called Linux User. Of course, my German is pretty rusty and all I can say is Uwe hat den Videowettbewerb gewonnen, thanks to my old German manual, so yeah, I can't read this. On top of that, you get the power brick with its barrel charger, which is not needed as the laptop can charge with USB-C, but you will need a powerful charger to let the CPU use its full power, so it's still nice to have it. The stickers are shipped separately, not glued to the laptop, and you also get a USB-C to Ethernet adapter to make sure you can use the supplied WebFAI USB drive, which lets you download any of the officially supported Linux distros from Tuxedo and reinstall them easily using an Ethernet connection. Other goodies include a notepad, pens, an instruction booklet, also in German, and a lanyard. Everything is nicely packed, the laptop is tight and protected, and you get a bunch of goodies, so good. Okay, enough with the boxes, let's talk about the laptop. The chassis is the usual magnesium aluminum alloy seen on most Tuxedo laptops. It's really sturdy, but also really lightweight. My review unit came in black, which looks pretty great and retains basically no fingerprints. It's a matte black, almost charcoal color, and it's beautiful. You can also get it in silver if you prefer, and in both cases it's 1.7 centimeters thick and 1.3 kilograms, so you can carry it anywhere without breaking your back. It has a tapered wedge shape with another taper going inwards on the bottom of the laptop, so it looks thinner than it is when resting on a desk, and it still accommodates a bunch of ports. Branding is minimal, as always with Tuxedo, with just a Tuxedo logo on the back, but you can also ask for no logo or have your own design engraved on the lid. Just pick the relevant customization option when configuring your device. A great way to have your favorite anime character on the back of your laptop for everyone else to see. The display is 16 by 10, which will please most people. You get a very nice chiclet style keyboard and a large glass touchpad, all in a form factor that's basically like a 13-incher, as the bezels around the display are very minimal. The laptop can be opened and upgraded. You can switch out the RAM and the SSD as you like, with dual-channel RAM slots and an M.2 slot that supports PCIe 4 drives. As always, it feels very durable, very sturdy, it doesn't flex, it doesn't creak, the hinge is sturdy as well. It's just a very premium built laptop, and that aluminum magnesium alloy is also very durable, as I can attest with my own laptops that make use of the material. Now let's move on to the specs of the laptop. It uses a 12th gen Intel Core i7-12700H, which is a pretty powerful CPU with 14 cores and 20 threads at a TDP of 49 watts. It's paired with a 99 watt-hour battery. By default, it comes with 8 GB of RAM, which is a bit too small for my taste in 2022, and you can upgrade that up to 64 GB. The default 250 GB of SSD will also probably feel a bit small, and the laptop can accommodate up to 2 TB of SSD. The display is 16 by 10, as I said, with a resolution of 2880 by 1800, with a refresh rate of 90 Hz. And it comes with Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2 with an Intel AX200 card. Some people reported issues with that card on the Bluetooth front, but on this laptop I can't say I noticed anything. Everything connects blazingly fast and works as expected. The laptop comes with the 2 years of standard European warranty, and you can extend that up to 5 years, including parts, labor, and shipping. Finally, my review unit came with a French AZERTY keyboard, but they have a lot of different layouts and you can even send them your own to be laser etched or have a blank keyboard. The Super Key has a cartoony Tux logo, but you can also ask for your own Super Key as well. And to complete the options, you can add an NVIDIA RTX 3050 Ti to supplement the default XE graphics to turn the laptop into a real workstation, or even ask to have a Windows VM pre-configured with or without a Windows license. It's a very customizable unit, as always with Tuxedo. You can make it your own with a logo on the lid or a custom keyboard layout or a custom Tux key, and you can really have the performance level that you'd expect from an Ultrabook to a real powerful workstation. In terms of ports, on the left side you get the usual Kensington lock, a USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 port, which supports DisplayPort 1.4 and power delivery, a USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 port, a full-size SD card reader, and a 2-in-1 audio jack. On the right you have the barrel charging port, an HDMI 2.0 port, a USB 3.2 Gen 1 port, and a Thunderbolt 4 port, which also supports DisplayPort 1.4 and power delivery. Should be enough to power basically everything you want, including up to 3 external displays. It's a nice selection. Now let's move on to the display. It's what they call a 3K panel at 2880 by 1800 in a 16 by 10 aspect ratio. It's 14-inch and has an anti-reflective coating, which means you won't get much glare at all when using the laptop outdoors or with natural light shining on it. It covers 99% of sRGB, 74.7% of Adobe RGB, and 81.1% of DCI-P3, which should be more than enough for most users, but maybe not for people who need extreme color accuracy. It goes up to 400 nits of brightness, but it feels a lot brighter than that, especially since there is no glass panel to dim it. And the contrast ratio is 1500:1, which is great, and it runs at 90 Hz. It is a very good panel with great colors, great responsiveness, high refresh rate. It's great. The only issue is that on a 14-inch, this kind of resolution means you have to use fractional scaling. At 1x, everything is too small. At 2x, everything is too big. So you will need like 125% of fractional scaling, which, depending on your distro or desktop environment, might not be great. The keyboard feels really good. It's a chiclet-style keyboard with black keys, whether you have the black or the silver variant. It's backlit and has a Tux Super Key that you can customize, as I said before. The keys sound good, nice and clicky, and while the travel is a bit shallow, they bounce back quickly and they feel good to press. The stroke is precise and you really won't mistype often. The touchpad also feels awesome. It's super smooth, covered in glass, and it's a joy to use with gestures. It's precise, it's responsive, it clicks well. It just feels really solid. It's one of the best touchpads I used on a Linux laptop. It approaches MacBook quality. I already loved the one on the bigger model, the 16-inch, and this one is in the same class. Good inputs are crucial for a laptop, and here, unless you're an absolute mechanical keyboard fan and you cannot type on anything else, in which case, good luck finding a laptop, you will not be disappointed with this laptop. Now we come to the problem with most laptops, the webcam and the mic. And here, well, they're actually not that bad. The webcam goes up to 1080p 30, and while it will need some amount of light to not be too grainy, it's far from the worst I've seen. The microphone is not that bad. You'll need to lower the default gain, but the voice is clear and you can't really hear any fan noise or coil whine, although it will pick up on touchpad clicks and keyboard presses. It's really not bad for a laptop mic. It's great to see that these parts haven't been completely left aside, as with most devices from Linux manufacturers. This time, they're good. And yeah, we're in 2022, people do a lot of video calls, and if you can't use your onboard webcam or mic, it's a problem. As per the speakers, they're bottom firing and they're also decent. They are not tinny, they don't distort at high volumes, and they get loud enough. Nothing fancy, but they do the trick perfectly for a YouTube video or a movie. Okay, let's finish this with performance and battery life. The 12700H is a very powerful CPU with 14 cores and 20 threads and a max frequency of 4.7 GHz. On Geekbench 5, it gets 1781 in single core and 8388 in multi-core, which means it beats my desktop 5800H in single core and gets extremely close in multi-core. It's cooled with a dual fan system with 2 fans and 2 heat pipes and uses liquid metal, which means temps never got high, staying at around 40 degrees Celsius at idle and about 80 degrees under heavy load. In terms of battery life, I got around 7.5 hours of YouTube video playback in a loop over Wi-Fi at 50% brightness with Bluetooth on. With a more regular workload of web browsing, listening to music, writing this script, and watching an occasional video or running a test or two on the laptop, I got 9 hours. So yeah, the 99 watt-hour battery does a great job of keeping this thing going for a full workday with even more to spare, and that's not even while using the power saver mode. It was in default. So you can probably eke out a little bit more if you also reduce the brightness a little bit, if you shut down Bluetooth. You can probably reach 10, maybe 11 hours. My review unit came with the integrated XE graphics, so I couldn't test the battery life with the optional RTX 3050 Ti. But I would expect the laptop to lose about 1 to 2 hours of battery life on light workloads and have about 4 to 5 hours when actually using the dedicated GPU, based on my experiences with similar devices. Obviously, gaming performance will be vastly different between the XE graphics or the 3050 Ti, but I know that this dedicated GPU can reach 60 FPS at medium details on most AAA titles at 1080p without any issues. The XE graphics, though, will only be suitable for light indie titles or really low details and resolutions for AAA games. So, the Tuxedo InfinityBook Pro 14 Generation 7. That's quite a mouthful. It's definitely a high-end laptop, as its starting price can attest. At 1,600 euros for the base model, it's not cheap. It does offer a very premium chassis, solid and compact, a really good display, an excellent keyboard and touchpad combo, and good performance. It's basically a fantastic all-rounder. It's got great build quality, solid materials, a really good panel, great keyboard and touchpad, decent webcam and mic, and good speakers. It's basically the MacBook Pro for Linux, and you can configure it with either dedicated GPUs if you really want more power and be able to do video editing and stuff like that, or you can just keep it as an ultrabook with integrated graphics. Most laptops from Linux manufacturers usually have at least one trade-off, whether it's the touchpad that's not great, or the webcam and mic combo, or the display. This one doesn't really have one. It's basically good everywhere, which is why I believe that it should be the template for all Linux laptops going forward. This is the baseline of what we should offer. Now, if you're looking for a compact, powerful, and really sturdy laptop for work, I don't think you can go wrong with this InfinityBook Pro. It's just classy, it will handle anything you throw at it, and you can make it your own with a custom logo, super key, or keyboard layout, which is always a plus. And if you prefer bigger options, they have a 16-inch variant with even more powerful dedicated GPU options. I reviewed the equivalent from Slimbook. I left a link to the video in the description and in the card up top. So, thanks everyone for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't hesitate to like, to subscribe, to turn on notifications, to write a comment. And if you didn't, well, you can always dislike it and tell me why in the comments as well. And if you really want to help support the channel, there's a super thanks button underneath the video, there's a PayPal link in the description, or you will also find links to all my socials and to my Patreon subscribers and YouTube members. Both get access to a weekly podcast every Monday where I talk about Linux, open source, the channel, other platforms, everything tech related basically, and they also get to vote on the next topics that I'll cover on the channel. So thanks everyone for watching, and I guess you'll see me in the next one. Bye!